The
You
Road
live.
King. What's up, man? What's going
Yo,
on?
how we doing?
I'm doing well, man. How are you doing? I love the positioning of the seltzer there. That's a
Yes,
beautiful
sir.
thing. Is that your? Don't you have a seltzer, or is that yours, or is that just random?
No, this is one of my buddies from South Carolina College. Actually hit me up last week about this whole brand. It's kind of a wild thing. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, man, I'm just trying to get involved in as much NIL shit as possible.
Just trying to make a buck. Just trying to
That's
make a
right.
buck.
Right.
No, I hear you, my guy. Well, how's dude? First things first. Congratulations, man. I'm sure everybody in the chat already knows, but the Roach family has increased by one, man. So
Yep.
congratulations to you and yours, man. Really happy for you. And again, for those who tuned in the chat that may have missed, Stephen Garcia, girl dad times two, another one on the
Yep.
way. So what? February 2023, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
So the due date is actually February 21st. So we're gonna try to go 6 days earlier because me and my dad's birthday is actually the 15th. So we're gonna see
Okay.
if we can't make that happen.
And you planned it well after football season.
Yep.
Beautiful, beautiful timing. Beautiful timing. Love that. Love that. Won't miss a beat.
Yep.
Stephen, again, I appreciate you taking the time, man. Really excited for this. And obviously, we're 12 days away now from kickoff, and the intensity's ratcheting up and everything. Everybody's getting excited. And I feel like, next week I really want to try to bring it to, and obviously the conversation will just organically go wherever, but I want to start next week, try to bring it to, the Georgia State game and on the field for Carolina. So we're really going to dive into it. It's funny with you, man. It's like I'll post clips from these conversations, and then people are like, hey, can you ask him about this? And there's like things that I forgot about that I'm like, oh, crap, forgot. So it's wild too that we're in an era where some people I'm like, hey, do you remember this? And they just have no idea what I'm talking about. Because at one point when you were a youngster at Carolina, you were one of the lead storylines in college football because of an interaction you had with a referee on a Thursday night. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The
Yep.
LSU game, 2008 Thursday. By the way, that was an electric. That was kind of like I feel like that was kind of your like, I'm here. Like, I'm Stephen Garcia. I'll never forget when you scrambled out of the pocket and you ran. It was like a 15-yard game, but you did to the student
Yep.
section, like pump it. That was kind of like, all right, this is the guy. This is the guy we recruited, whatever. But the referee trucking you, which is still on YouTube. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, go look it up right now. The ref throws the shoulder, and you're just like laid on the ground, like, what is going on? Like, walk me through that entire deal with that referee. And I mean, dude, he needs to be put on scholarship for somebody. That was a hell of a hit he put on you.
So the week before we played against Kentucky, and I guess I mean, we weren't. I didn't think Smelly was playing that bad, but I guess he wasn't playing that well. So Coach Spurrier put me in, and we ended up making a comeback and ended up winning that game at Lexington. So Coach Spurrier wanted to start me. So my first start in college football was against the reigning champion LSU Tigers. So I'm sitting there, I'm like shitting in my pants the whole week, but that's what we signed up for. That's as a player, that's what we're doing. That's why he's signed to play in the SEC. Anyways, long story short, we did a little zone read. I'm going to scramble or going to run in, and I mean, I feel like I could have scored because it was just me and a safety right there. Except you don't see a referee when you're actually on the field running around. So this son bitch fucking slides, and literally just gives me the cold shoulder. And I'm sitting. I'll never forget. I was sitting there. I'm looking on the ground like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Get the fuck out of the way. And Jarrell King, you can see in the video, he's like picking me up and he's like, hey, G, man, calm down, get back. Well, next play. I'm like, no, man, the fucking guy just drilled me. Like, well, this is bullshit. And I mean, you can see the video. I'm like still like talking to the ref. Anyways, come to find out, he was the first African American All-American linebacker, and he played at Kentucky. So there's like some conspiracy theorists like, oh yeah, he just wanted to knock you out for beating his team last week and all that. And it's actually funny. So it might have been a couple weeks later or maybe the next year. Yeah, I think it was next year. And he's like, hey, Mr. Garcia, you remember me? I was like, yeah, man, how can I forget? He's like, yeah, it's a crazy world we live in. I didn't do that on purpose. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, man. Just kind of, joking around. And he goes, yeah, it's actually funny. My daughter knows your high school receiver, Evan Cromer, at Western Kentucky. I'm like, oh, no kidding. So it's just a small world, man. And it's just you never know who you're going to get run into or get ran over.
Yeah. Dude, and that was a clip that took college football by storm. Like that was just getting replayed
Oh, man.
constantly.
anytime,
constantly.
anytime a referee hits, it could be a Pee Wee guy, it could be anybody. They're like, oh yeah, and people tag me, oh, it's Steven Garcia. Remember this guy? It's like, jeez, man. Ask Garcia about getting hit by a ref. People ask me that all the time. Embarrassing.
Yeah, he must say yeah, that was impressive. Like I said, you could tell he was played at some point because the stick he laid on you. Switching gears a little bit, that Thursday night was electric. It was an electric atmosphere. I'll never forget that. You obviously visited on campus. You visited for a game, yes? I mean, I would imagine so.
No,
You didn't visit for a
no,
game. And that's
nope.
what I was going to ask because, Brad Lawing and other coaches have told me, like, Chris, if you get a prospect on campus and you get him in Willie B and you get him to feel that atmosphere, you feel pretty good about your chances of getting them. But so you never experienced that until you stepped foot on campus and were actually
Right.
playing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Love it. So what was your first? Was there a game for you where, I mean, you had seen it on TV, but what was like the first game where you're like, holy shit, this is electric. This is jumping.
I mean, really, there was the first game. The first game I actually played in was against Georgia, but I think it was like a noon game, so it wasn't too crazy. At least I didn't feel like, and I wasn't even playing, so it wasn't like, I think I got like maybe 2 or 3 snaps, but yeah, the UAB game, it was a night game, and I think that's when I played I think I was splitting reps with like Tommy Beecher and Chris Smelly that game, and I just remember being like, holy shit, like this is legit. This is a lot of people, and it's loud as hell. But as far as like, that was probably like my first impression, and then the ultimate one was the Ole Miss game.
Yeah.
When they were number 4 and we came out and beat their ass pretty good. But that was probably my first like introduction to like how crazy it is.
Yeah. The late great Jevin Sneed leading that team. Crazy.
Yeah.
So we obviously mentioned this and teased this a little bit, Stephen, last week. Your Canadian Football League career. You signed a 3-year deal in 2012 with Montreal. You were on the injured list in 2012. What did you have? What were you injured with? What did you?
Nothing. So what they do up there is,
Fair enough.
so I get off the plane. It's all the rookies or whatever. We get off the plane and we're getting ready to go to the hotel. And I'm sitting in the front seat and I'm talking to the guy, the director of personnel or whatever. And I was like, hey man, like I probably should ask you before I got here, or my agent should ask you, but like what do practice squad guys get up here? And they're like, you make $408 a week, but all your stuff is covered, like your meals and your stay, like your room and all that. I was like, okay, what does injured reserve guys get? And they said, oh, you get your full salary, you just don't make any of your like incentives or bonuses. I looked at them dead in the eye. I said, if you guys plan on putting me on the practice squad, turn this bus around and send my ass back to Tampa. I'm not living in Canada for $400 a game. So he's like, all right, noted. So Montreal had the Tom Brady of the Canadian Football League up there. Anthony Calvillo, straight 100% Mexican dude. The guy was 43 years old my rookie year, took every single first string rep, every single second string rep, practice reps. I mean, the guy did not let anyone else throw a football during practice. So it was kind of shitty, but it is what it is. And then Coach Tressman left to go to Chicago Bears to be their head coach. And then we brought in Dan Hawkins for that in my second year. And they re-signed Calvillo to a 2-year extension that offseason. So I just kind of went up there, and to be honest, man, I just really didn't give a shit. So I was up there for a little bit, and then they're like, all right, yeah, we're not bringing back for their 3rd year. I said, that's fine. I don't plan on coming back anyway. So I was also I was in a bad place, mentally after the whole South Carolina debacle. So I honestly, it was just bad timing. I was immature as shit, hard-headed, was trying to blame everybody else except for myself, and, just didn't work out.
Yeah. I was going to ask, I mean, were you close to signing with any NFL teams? I mean, because I would imagine if what happened in 2011 didn't happen, I mean, I feel confident the 2011 Gamecocks still would have had a really, really good season, 10 or 11, whatever win season. And you, I think, would have gotten drafted. I mean, I feel like that would have happened. I mean, were you close to signing with anybody, or?
Yeah, man. I mean, truth be told, I put in my papers after 2010, and Coach Mangus called me and he's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, no, like we need you back for your senior year. Like, we're gonna make a run at this thing. And I remember getting the grades back, and they were like between 4th and 6th round. And I was like, I mean, that's not great, but I mean, it's better than better than nothing. But they convinced me. And I was like, yeah, man, I think you're right. Like, I like where our team is at, and we just come off an SEC championship appearance. Like, why not try to make a legit run at this thing? So I ended up coming back, and that that didn't work out too well for me. But yeah, man, after the season, I took after I got kicked off after the Kentucky game, I probably took like the rest of that season off, and I was just pissed off at the world. Just bad place. Didn't work out. Didn't do anything. Didn't want to talk to anybody. And then I just said, you know what? Why am I wasting my time? Like, I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna start working out. So I ended up working out with a trainer. Got back into it. Had a couple workouts. Went to the combine. It was like the secondary combine up in Detroit, and played well. Talked with a bunch of teams. And then come draft day, the last day, I remember the Bucks called me. And they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna bring you in, or we're gonna sign you if nobody signs you or whatever." So I was like, hell yeah, man, I can't wait. This is awesome. Never in a million years I think I'd be able to make it to an NFL roster after, being suspended 5 times and ultimately kicked off the team. And then come to find out, Greg Schiano, who was the coach of the Bucks at that time, ended up going with Zach Collaros, who he played against when he was coaching at Rutgers. So I didn't get any looks from the NFL team after that, and then just went straight up to Montreal.
Right. Did you watch any South Carolina football after the Auburn game?
What do you think?
I don't think you did.
I felt bad. I felt like I was a bad teammate, and right. Looking back, that was extremely.
I'm sure it was painful. I mean, it's painful to watch.
Oh,
I mean,
it was absolutely brutal to try to watch that. I wanted nothing to do with the program. Like, to be honest, I wanted absolutely nothing to do with it. So I did not. To answer your question, no, I did not watch any of the game.
Yeah, and it's crazy too to think that after 2010, they're all convincing you to come back. Obviously, which I mean, we're all happy you did, but it's funny, like they're all convincing you to come back, and then literally going into 2012 or 2011, excuse me. I guess Steve Spurrier decides he wants to try to send a message or something because he benched you for the first game to start.
Right.
To start, didn't even start you the first game as a senior. I mean, like, okay, this is why I came back. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Exactly. And like, I didn't do myself any favors. I was
right
being an idiot. But at the end of the day, it's like, man, I jumped through all these freaking hoops. You guys asked me, you guys drug tested me every single week, literally every single week. I tell people all the time I'm the most drug tested NCAA player of all time. And I don't even think it's close. But I jumped through all these hoops. I graduated. I signed a contract that I had to graduate. I had to do this, I had to do that. And I literally did everything. And then all of a sudden he's like, yeah, we're going to start Connor. I was like, all right. Yeah, there was a little chip on my shoulder. Yeah. I mean, there still is a little bit, but, I was talking with somebody the other day, and they were like, yeah, when I was a junior in high school, I was high school All-American, had all these, offers. Then, I was hanging around the wrong crowd and ended up going to prison for 3 years for jacking cars and selling drugs and stuff. And I was like, man, it's a little intense. I wasn't doing all that shit, but he's like, yeah, man. But, at the end of the day, like, if you dwell on your past, like, you're never going to get out of that hole. Right. And I was like, man, you're 100% right. If I would have kept getting kicked off the team and, doing all that shit, God only knows where the hell I'd be. I don't even know. Yeah. But, if you keep dwelling on the past, you're never going to get out of the hole you're in.
Yeah. And you were painted as the hero in that East Carolina game, which, I mean, you were. I mean, so, there's that. So I wanted to move to also back to your pro career, if you will. You did the whole CFL thing. You also played for the Tampa Bay Storm in the Arena Football League. What was Arena Football's got? I just imagine it's like a whole different world playing Arena Football.
It was, you go from the pinnacle of college football, the SEC,
right,
to Canada, which is
not quite the pinnacle.
No. Right now, though, there's a lot of players in Canada that should be playing on Sundays. I
was going to say, I mean, Eric Norwood, Corey Boyd, 2 guys that come to mind that were very good in the CFL.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, they paid pretty damn well. But then the Canadian taxes just kick you straight in the dick. So there's that. But then you go from that, then you go to Arena Football, and you're playing in a freaking shoebox, and there's no, you have to like get your own shoes, you have to get your own equipment. Like, it was very ragtagish. I mean, the quarterbacks, for some reason, we got paid a decent amount. But we had guys that would leave to practice and they'd go work at McDonald's and like would be literally flipping burgers and like frying fries. And then we'd go out like, as a team and they'd tell these girls, they're like, oh yeah, I'm a professional football player. And I'm sitting there like, no, man, don't tell anybody. That's embarrassing as shit. But yeah, I mean, but again, it's the same thing. It's like you go from playing the SEC to Canada to Arena League. And I'm not trying to shit on any leagues or any players that are doing that kind of stuff. It just, I was mentally just not there. I didn't want to be there. But I had that like fire to still play football because at the end of the day, man, I love the game. I love what the game does for people in general, players and fans at the same time, communities. It's indescribable, man. And I wish to God that I would have, turned my brain on a little bit earlier and would have realized what this game can do for players. And I think I'd be in a little different position now than, if I would have been a little wiser back then. But shit happens, as they say.
Hey, the joys and the journey, as I always love to say, man, you learn along the way, and it is part of the legend that is Steven Garcia. On that note, by the way, and this is coming from your Wikipedia page, by the way, which congratulations on having a Wikipedia page. I haven't reached that point yet. But it says on May 14th, 2014, you were placed on league suspension. I got to know what this is about. I have to know.
Oh, my God. This is actually a really funny story. So Derek Brooks, Hall of Fame linebacker for the Bucs, he was the president of the Tampa Bay Storm. So we fly out to, I think we played San Jose that week, and we won. So we're flying. I had like a bunch of points on my American Express for travel. So we won. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna get everybody on the team. I'm gonna just buy them. I'm gonna buy them a bunch of drinks. So we all get kind of mangled a little bit up in the air, flying to Tampa from San Jose, and a couple of the teammates literally started barking at like other passengers, like "Rah, rah, 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 rah," like just kind of dicking around, and I'm sitting there like this is weird as shit, but what? Then I'm telling them, hey, sorry, these guys are bothering you. Like, let me buy you guys a drink. They're like, oh, sure, fine, yeah. So, anyways, I thought it was great. I thought everybody had a great time. The passengers, the players are like, hey, Garcia, appreciate it, man. That's awesome. Thank you so much. And then Derek Brooks sees me the next practice. So we had the off day the next day. Then the following day we had practice and meetings. He's like, Steven, I need to see you in my office. So I'm like, what's up, man? How's everything going? He's like, yeah, I want you to read this email. So some lady who I was buying drinks for emailed Derek Brooks and told him that everybody was being belligerent. We were being offensive. We were doing this. And some big guy with long hair was buying everybody drinks. And I was like, yeah, man, I didn't think anybody was being like offensive or rude or anything. Like people were just like barking and stuff. He's like, all right, well, I think we're going to put you on league suspension. I was like, shocker, man. Like, why not?
Par for the course.
I wish I could talk to him and like have him tell the story. Just because I literally looked at him, I was like, all right, man, that's fine. Like, whatever.
Par for the course. Right back where I feel comfortable. Right in my comfort zone.
This is perfect, man. I'm home. I'm home now.
Yeah.
But it's crazy, man. I see him at Publix. He lives out by me. So I see him at Publix, and I'll say what's up to him all the time. And he's like, hey, man, hope you're doing well. And I was like, yeah, man, you too, man. Am I still suspended from the league or what's going on?
That's still going on. You can never come back. God, what a time. What a time. Now, also in the year 2014, I got to ask this too. This just came to my mind. You had a little media stint. You were hanging out with the quote unquote media boys, as Coach Spurrier would like to say, and you went to SEC Media Days and asked Coach Spurrier a question. And I know he obviously just got there's the clip obviously on social media. He got a kick out of that. What did you like being on that side of things? Being on the media side?
It was really fun because you couldn't get suspended for anything.
In the media, getting belligerents, it's encouraged. Much less get a suspension.
Especially for Saturday Down South, man. It was the Wild Wild West. So I'm sitting there playing. So once I got suspended for the thing from San Jose, this Drew Roberts, who was the CEO, the founder of Saturday Down South, reached out to me on Twitter and was like, hey, man, let me know when you're done playing. I got an offer for you. So I messaged him back. I was like, sure, man, like what's going on? And long story short, he came down and we went to the casino, kind of like wine and dine, the whole deal. And we just kind of talked numbers. And I was like, yeah, I'm done playing football. Like I'm gonna do the Saturday Down South deal. So yeah, man, I was working with them with Justin King down there in Orlando. Was working out there 2 or 3 times a week, and it was actually really fun. I didn't really know how to do it, if that makes sense. It was completely something I've never been used to, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, there was a really good group of guys, but I got really heavy really quick. I wasn't working out, wasn't training quarterbacks, wasn't doing shit.
I was going to say, you did look a little husky in that clip when you asked Coach Spurrier a question.
I was probably, so the heaviest I've ever been, which was around that time, I was 287. Yeah. Yeah.
Beef.
I was eating, playing golf, 5 days a week, not lifting, not doing anything. And, they were just throwing money at my face. So I was like, ah, shit, man, this is the life, man. But yeah, it was definitely interesting and also pretty cool, like asking Coach Spurrier those questions. And he goes, yeah, I wasn't sure if that was a Garcia, if that was a member from Duck Dynasty. And everybody just started dying. I was like, yeah, I mean, I see it.
It's wild, like how quick he is. Just like it's just off the dome. He doesn't even have to think about it. He's just able to do those little one-liners and just like, yeah. I mean, people ask me. I was talking about this with some guys the other day. They were asking about Beamer and like, can he, because everybody just sees the warm and fuzzy side of Beamer, the what you see in the media. But I'm like, I've heard from behind closed doors, like he can chew some ass. I mean, you have to as a football coach. That's not probably shocking to you, but to some people, it's like they've just never even heard him say a bad word or anything.
Oh, but he'll let it ride for sure.
Yeah.
He would rip DJ Swearinger's ass, and he would rip Chris Culliver's ass. He'd rip all of them, and they were like, yes, sir. Like, that's guys that get their ass chewed out. They're worth a shit. They want to get chewed out. They like that. They want to get better.
Yeah.
If you got guys that kind of bitch and moan when they're getting chewed out, then it's going to be. Yeah. You don't have that much of a drive, I don't think.
Yeah, and as a coach, you got to command respect. Obviously, that from doing your coaching. I mean, there's a line between being just a total dickhead and being, somebody that players can just walk all over. It's about commanding respect. But what I was going to say is people ask about Spurrier, and I'm like, from the guys I've talked to, and obviously you can attest to this. It's like, and I'm not sure you can tell me like if Spurrier would like berate or chew you out, but he would make you feel like that big if you messed up. He's like, well, we're the ones that recruited you.
Yep. Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah. And my flaw was I'd give it back to him sometimes, and it's like you can't do that.
Did you and Spurrier ever get like a match, like a jawing off match with each other, or like
a couple times? Just because he would just constantly complain. He's like, yeah, why do you have a beard? Why do you have long hair? Why aren't you wearing a collared shirt? Why aren't you wearing khakis? Why aren't you wearing shoes? It's like, Coach, who the hell gives a shit, man? Like, I'm not here to play school. I'm here to play football. Like what is, I'm not playing golf when I'm going to class. I don't know if you know this or not. It's 9,000 degrees in Colombia. Yeah. I'm not playing golf in that weather. I'm gonna wear a t-shirt and like a bathing suit and freaking flip-flops. Like that's just what I'm gonna do, man. And he's like, oh shit, all right, that's what you're gonna do. That's what you're gonna do. All right.
Meanwhile, he's out there shirtless at practice.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, Coach Spurrier, what a legend! What a legend!
I wish that I just wouldn't have been so hard-headed, man. It would have alleviated so many freaking arguments and suspensions and so much other bullshit. But as you said, you live and learn.
Yeah. I don't know how much, Steven, switching gears a little bit, I'm not sure how much you've kept up with it, but have you seen the Mark Stoops, Shane Beamer thing? Have you seen the back and forth, like on social media? Have you?
I saw Stoops and I don't know if it was one of the basketball players or one of the
Calipari. They went back and forth. I don't know if you saw, but Stoops basically made a comment about building climate versus culture and saying that you and I'm going to paraphrase so poorly here, but basically saying that you can do a dance and put on goofy sunglasses and do this, but that doesn't build a culture. That might change a climate, but it doesn't build a culture like they're building in Kentucky. And most took it as he was taking a direct shot at Shane Beamer after the whole Soulja Boy glasses on the video. And so there's been and then Shane Beamer over the weekend at the Gamecock Central Steelheads event said that the climate in our building is hot, but the culture is a whole hell of a lot hotter. I can assure you of that. So just kind of some fun back. And I'm like, dude, we need more of this. Like we need a Spurrier again. Like everybody just goes to SEC Media Days and sort of just says the whatever they say, very bland. Like, bro, like, where's the people? I mean, and obviously, like Shane Beamer, it's year 2 of his coaching career. So, like, when you're Steve Spurrier and you can
Yeah.
say anything, right? You can just say whatever you want. But yeah, I mean, it's I mean, dude, I miss that, man. I mean, I had people tell me that when he was at Florida, Spurrier, he was the kind of coach. He'd walk out to the 50 and say, "All right, we're gonna score 50 today. You're gonna score 51 to beat us." Like, that's it. But
100%, man. And I agree, man. I think that's society in general. Everyone's
yeah,
so afraid of maybe upsetting someone or offending someone. I can't stand it.
yeah.
It's,
Now,
it's
now, what I think is so fascinating about Spurrier, guys I've talked to, those like he ran the same plays from Florida to
oh,
Carolina to what was he coached in the
Red, or
yeah,
the Commanders, now,
the Commanders, and then the other semi or the pro whatever the football league was. I forget the name, but I'm
the
drawing.
USFL or
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, the AAF or whatever. But guys, I would talk to like that is the same exact tight end drag play. That's the same. It's like the same hand signals. He was doing the same exact thing, and it still worked.
I know. I mean, they were great. They were great ball plays. Yeah, we got a good ball play here.
Was there ever a moment with Spurrier where, I mean, did he do a lot of like kind of drawing it in the dirt, kind of on the fly type stuff, or was it all very scripted, or like was it a mix of both, or?
I think it was a mix of both. I think towards the the end of my time with him, I think he was kind of delegating it a little bit more to, his son, Coach Junior, the coach Mangus, a couple of the other coaches. Because I mean, in 2009, 2010, I mean, he was literally we're watching tape, and I'm seeing him. He's like drawing up ball plays, and he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna put this in here. We're gonna do that," and it just got a little crazy. But he also he did not ever want to relinquish his duties as play caller. Like he wanted to be the guy who's calling the plays.
Right. I was going to say for a little bit, I feel like he did, and that was a very short, or not totally relinquished, but I just remember that was a storyline about is Junior calling all the plays, and like that got nipped in the bud fast. Like that was, yeah. So it's just interesting, man. I mean, I talking to Brad Lawing, obviously that coach when you're there, he would tell me, he's like, Chris, if Spurrier knew where your safeties were and what they were doing, just game over. He'd pick you apart, man.
For sure. No, there's no doubt about it. He did not care about any sort of blitz schemes, any sort of coverage schemes, any sort of anything. He said, find the safeties, and then just throw it to where your open guy is.
Yeah, timing, get it to where it's supposed to go. You make Steve Spurrier very happy for sure.
Yep.
But then again, if you throw a pick, you might get your ass pulled. So there's that too. Or if you fumble the football, which you again know very well.
For sure.
Steven, this has been a pleasure, man. I feel like there's one thing I was going to ask you, and I'm just drawing a blank for some reason. Oh, I will say this. So we'll close on a high note here, because I'm going through the comments and just seeing if there's anything specifically. So we're doing a season simulation series. We're literally simulating football in a video game. We're just at that point. We're so ready.
Yeah.
We got Tennessee tonight at home. Do you have a vote for what uniform we should wear?
When is that?
So that game is the week before Clemson in real life. Yeah. It's the week before Clemson. We play them super late.
Is that Halloween?
No, it's not. Mizzou is actually the Halloween game this year. It's the 29th of October, but that's the Halloween weekend. I know it's weird. It's very weird.
Halloween. Oh, I miss Halloween in college. Holy shit.
Halloween in Columbia, pretty wild. I mean, I've heard about like ECU and some others, but so it's.
Yeah, Columbia was pretty wild. I think all college campuses are pretty.
Yeah.
But man, I'll be honest. I think I'm a big fan of the all black uniforms. That's just my opinion. I don't know. What color helmets are we wearing this year? Does anybody know?
Well, so I mean, we've got the option now, right? We've got white, garnet, and black. So I mean, but I think Beamer's definitely more of a traditional.
Sure.
we didn't wear the black helmet last year, which I wasn't upset about. I mean, and I like the glossy black over the matte. I feel like matte's kind of lost. Like matte was a fad. I'm not a big matte guy. All right, so I could talk about uniforms, by the way, for hours. Are you more of a traditional uniform guy, or do you like the crazy like Oregon, like just chrome helmet, or would you prefer a traditional look?
I tell us people all the time. The 2010 jerseys that we had were my favorite. I hated the new ones that we had in 2011. I was more of a traditional guy as well. I'd like the all garnet jerseys that we wore. I wasn't a huge fan of the white tops and the garnet bottoms. But again, I also personally don't really give a shit about the uniform. I just want to go out there and hit somebody. That's all I want to do. I want to go out there and talk some shit and, get these guys fired up.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm like I said, I love talking uniforms. I love the 2010s also. I like a more traditional look, to be honest. I'm a very much less is more guy. I think that comes from baseball because you don't really have those crazy uniforms in baseball. It's pretty much just kind of your standard thing. But yeah, I think all black for Tennessee makes a lot of sense. I think they ought to make that game like an all black. We wear all black. They wear all orange or whatever the hell their white helmets. But yeah, you guys had some fun games against Tennessee. Just recalling that now, there were some fun ones,
Sure.
no doubt.
For sure.
So, yeah, for sure. Steven, it's been a pleasure, man. I really appreciate you doing this. Like I said, dude, it's crazy. Next week is game week, dude. Oh, how did I saw high school football obviously got going. I guess your son had his first game, that right?
Yeah.
How did that go?
So he got one drive at the end of the game, man. It was he got his first varsity action. He's a
Nice.
little 14-year-old little shit. But I went out there with a bunch of my buddies, and my brother came in from Dallas to watch it and all that stuff, and for the gender reveal. But yeah, man, I took one of the videos of him like scrambling and running downfield, got 10 or 12 yards. And I was like, dude, you see this video? Like, when I ask you to do dishes or do your laundry or clean your room, I need you to move with this kind of urgency, not walking around like it's a damn zombie. He's like, hey. I was like, no, Memphis, I'm dead serious. Like, I don't want you walking around anymore. You got to start moving like that all the time. But I was really proud of him. It's not easy, going in as a 14-year-old freshman playing against, 17, 18-year-old kids that have been, playing for 4 years and weigh 100 pounds heavier than you. So I was really proud of him, and hopefully he's got a legit shot in the future.
You think he could be the next Garcia SEC quarterback or what?
Hopefully. I tell him all the time. He's like, I want to get number 5. He was number 19 this past Friday, and I was like, I said, why? I said, be your own guy, man. Be your own number. Like, I don't want you to be me. I want you to be better than me in so many different ways. So be your own guy, man.
I actually wore number 19, so shout out to Memphis. Hell yeah, love that. You got to vote for 19 from me. That's
Johnny.
Awesome, man. Yeah, yes, exactly. Steven, always a pleasure, my man. Thank you so much again. Next week, my friend, it is game week. We are officially getting into game week. We'll be talking on-field action. We got a lot to dive into with Georgia State, and obviously every single Monday. I know everybody's looking forward to getting your takeaways, your feedback, talking X's and O's, and obviously just breakdowns of everything, and obviously continue the great conversation. So, Steven, always a pleasure, my friend. Again, congratulations on growing the Roach family by another one. And, dude, I'm so excited to get into the football stuff and get into the season. Of course, we got week 0 this weekend with Nebraska and Vanderbilt's playing, and there's some other games. And SEC football, man, it's finally here. So, Steven.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank God. We talking season, as Coach Spurrier like to say, it's almost over. It's time to shut up and go hit somebody. So
yes, sir.
We love that. Steven, always a pleasure, my friend. We'll do it again next week.
Yes, sir. Sounds good, man.
Take care.